Hello, welcome to another stream. How about that? How about that? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So today is what? What is it today? Today is Tuesday, and that means today, according to the schedule, we are programming in Thrust. In Thrust we rust. So, and yeah, today we're gonna continue developing our special framework, a special console UI framework that you can find here. And we're gonna use that framework after we're done developing it in CM, which is the interactive output processor, I would say, something like that. So we're gonna use it in a different application, right? So right now the UI management state in CM is quite sad, and that's what I'm trying to fix here. I'm trying to, structurize the UI approaches in CM, and we'll see how it goes. So yeah, and let's just jump into that, I suppose. Hello everyone. Hello. Hello, RZ0605, Freifau, John Katul, apparently Potatoes, Aritra, John yet again, Miyazaki, Tsoding, Kolumbetka, MM2PL, Cerimon, welcome. Feng-Chi, hello. Welcome. It's pronounced Free Fu. Okay, thank you for letting me know. Hello, Ender Manuel. I hope I pronounced your nickname correctly. Welcome. So let's just get into the Rust development. How about that? We've been programming in C and C++ for the past like 4 days. I think the time has come to switch up the language. Let me start my team UCAS. You can find the source code of the project by using today command or project command, as usual. And here it is. So let me fetch the latest stuff just in case I committed something off screen, because sometimes that happens. All right, and I didn't commit anything off screen, which is nice. So that means I don't have to deal with anything here. So let's rebuild the whole framework, and the idea of the framework is actually pretty simple. It's a classical like UI framework where you describe the UI as a tree, you see, declaratively, right? We declaratively described this tree, and we just give that tree, that UI tree, to the engine, and it just renders it. So essentially we have two kind of like layouters, or like two kind of boxes. It's V boxes and H boxes. V box is a vertical box, it aligns its children vertically, and H box is a horizontal box, it aligns its children horizontally. So what we did here, at the top we have a vertical box, and then we have 4 H boxes, right? So basically we have some sort of a grid, right? We have some sort of a grid. And in the first row, in the first element, we have item list with several items, and then we have just simple text labels, and for the rest of these things we have simple text labels. So if we try to render all of that, this is how it's going to look like. As you can see, we have some sort of a grid. Here we have an item list, like in the top left corner, and for the rest of the cells we have just the text. We can also align them, we can center them if we want to. As you can see, list is not centered because it doesn't handle that. But overall, you can build UIs like that, and that's just a prototype of the UI system, right? We only started developing this entire thing. So and today we're going to continue. Today we're probably going to add more UI mechanisms, specifically UI mechanisms that we need in CM. And yeah, so that's the plan for today, just add more content into the library. How about a real declarative in JSON, YAML, or an XML? So, but what's interesting about UIs is that you have to jump between declarative and imperative, right? So, because sometimes you need to describe something declaratively, but sometimes, especially behavior, you need to describe imperatively, right? And if you use a separate language to describe UI, you sort of have to jump between the languages all the time. So yeah, I would prefer to use a single language in this particular case. All right. So let's get started, I suppose. extract these two examples. That would be actually pretty cool. Text the snapper wrapping around. Do I have, how many to-dos do I have, by the way? How many to-dos do I, oh my god, I cannot search in for some reason. Yeah. Sometimes it's just my search in the project stops working and I don't really understand why. So I want to find all of the to-dos. I might as well actually just use snitch for this particular case. So I'm gonna just do list and it will give me all of the to-dos that we have here. So here are all of the to-dos. We only have 2 of them. Right, and let me start my Chromium. So, did I create any issues in the repo itself? I didn't think so. I didn't create any special issues. Alright, so excited example, text does not support wrapping around. Maybe I'm gonna try to extract the 2 examples of warm-up. Cozy White Bear. I'm sorry if it was too loud. Thank you, Cozy White Bear, for 3 months of a tier 1 subscription. Thank you, and welcome back to our epic Rust Club. How about that? Excuse me. So yeah, we continue programming in Rust. So what I want to do is I don't want to have like an executable. Because it's supposed to be a library. Like what kind of executables we're talking about? When we're using libraries, we usually have like examples folder, right? And as far as I know, Cargo has like a special mechanism for handling examples. So let me go ahead and just Google it up and just learn how to do that. Cargo examples. Streamer, can you imitate Rainbow PLS? No, I cannot. I'm incapable of doing that, I'm sorry. Types of cargo. Oh, okay. Jesus Christ, cargo. Rust cargo examples. Add examples to your Rust libraries, exactly. So that's what I want. We're gonna read somebody else's blog post where they talk tell us all about their life in this wall of text that nobody gives a shit about. Okay. Rust by example. To cargo. I wonder if some of the libraries that I use have examples, because I don't want to read documentation. I don't really want to read like a wall of text, because usually it's not, you know, particularly useful. Crates.io. Crates.io, and does and curses, for example, have any examples? Would be actually pretty cool, because I already use this library. I'm already familiar with it. So that'll be actually pretty cool. Okay, we do have examples. So basically you have a separate folder, right? And in that folder you have the executable. And to build this entire thing, I suppose you just put something. They have a make file, and they also have lib.rs. That's very interesting. Okay. So examples, and they don't really build them. As far as I know, Cargo has like a special directive to build the examples, does it not? Okay, they build examples with a make file. Does anybody know any good library where we can steal how to work with examples? I don't know, Tokyo, something like that. Because this is one of the famous libraries that I know. Because reading documentation of Rust is just pain in the ass. I didn't want to do that. I'm sorry. Okay, it does have examples. All right, so in the examples we have the, okay, so they also have a cargo toml there to build those examples. So, and in here, okay, so there's internal. Okay, thank you, Jesus Christ, because it's so difficult to find anything on the internet because people are just doing all sorts of things. Okay, members, examples. I remember that it was slightly different. All right. Come on. So here's the examples. And oh, all right. So for each individual example, you literally have subfolder. Okay. Makes sense. And as the dependency, you actually go back in. I see, I see. So I guess that kind of makes sense. Yeah. Hello Pingo Ray, hello Droka87, welcome to the stream. All right, let's actually try to do something like that, I suppose. So we're gonna have examples, and maybe we're gonna have a cargo toml there, yeah. So what I want to do here, first I want to extract some of this stuff to lib.rs. I suppose that's what we have to have here, right? So we need to have lib.rs. Let's create lib.rs, and we're gonna move everything there, right? So we're gonna move ncurses there, then rect, event, widget, hboxes, vboxes, alignment, all sorts of widgets and stuff like that, all sorts of widgets, item list implementations, this thing, these helpers, like everything has to be put here, I suppose. So, and this is going to be our like module or whatnot. So, and maybe I have to use like a lib, everything from that lib, and I also will have to make everything public, right? Because right now these things are not public. I'm not sure if I have to make traits public, but I'm gonna give it a try. So if the compiler complains, I'm gonna fix that. So I'm not sure if I have to put public for implementations, because implementations for the trait, they already have like this public. I believe example is just a markdown backtick in comment at the top of the definition. Excuse me, what are you talking about? Hello, Luke Gorilla, welcome to the stream. All right. So I just need to go through all of these things and mark them as public, otherwise I won't be able to use them in my code struct. So so this stuff is also public. I think he's talking about per function example, which generates runnable example on top of the documentation. I never use them, so this is not necessarily what I want to do. I don't want to give examples for each individual function. I want to give examples on how you can compose those functions. I don't think individual functions are as important or interesting as the combinations of functions. I think combinations of functions is more important. Yeah, it doesn't make sense for TUI library. Yeah, because it's the combination that matters here. Spoke like a true Haskell dev. I mean, you know me. All right, and another interesting thing, we also have to import ncurses because we'll have to initialize ncurses. So we don't have like a perfect abstraction. Console UI equal TUI. Yes, it is equal TUI. So because we still sometimes have to call ncurses functions because we just recently started to develop this framework. All right, and I wonder if it's gonna compile right now already. Let's find out. So I'm gonna do cargo build, and are you gonna compile? Are you gonna compile? It's compiling. It's doing something, and it's not gonna compile. All right, so apparently I don't have to mark it as public. Sure. I plan to go ncurses free in the later stage of the development. No. Unresolved library. I forgot how to do that. Do I have to do something like mod? I think I have to do something like mod lib if I want to use it like that. Right. So, why do I? Okay, so, well, let me see. Structure items. Okay, so I also have to make the inner things of the structures public as well. Would you use Go again for something? I'm actually thinking about it. Why not? Go seems like a pretty nice language, but I'm not sure what exactly I'm going to use it for. And for my next project, I wanted to use D. So Yeah, I don't know. Do I need to mark this as public? I think I shouldn't be able to. Okay, let's give it a try. Yeah, I don't have to do that. I think enumerations are automatically public. Item struct, all right. Struct item list, and I forgot to put this thing here. Big D energy. Very funny. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. It's a Russian love of approval. All right. So I extracted all of that into a separate module, and everything seems to be okay. I would also like to extract ncurses initialization and set hook thingy and deinitialization, and especially event loop, to like a separate thingy. Right, to a separate thingy. Essentially, I want to have in lib, specifically inside of lib, I want to have a special function that is called exec, right? And it should accept, I suppose it should accept root widget, right? Vec box dynamic widgets, right? And it should not return anything, and it's gonna initialize everything, and it's gonna organize event loop for you and actually push events to your widgets. So I think it would be actually pretty cool. So the first thing we're gonna do here, we're gonna initialize ncurses and set the hook in case something fails. So it's quite important. So I might as well actually call it UI, because that's how we call this thing here. All right, so afterwards, we need to organize the event loop. So there we go, we're organizing the event loop. Yeah, so screen rec is available there. So we get the key. And essentially, what we're doing, we're just, every time we retrieve the key from the user, we send that as an event down to the UI tree. You see what we're doing here? You see what we're doing here? I wish you can separate the docs in other file like Go does. I'm sorry, I have no idea what you're talking about. So I'm just trying to separate the library and the usage of the library. That's what I'm trying to do. It's actually a very simple task. I don't think I need any like sophisticated tools to do that. Like I have a code of the library and the usage of the library stacked together. I just need them, pull them apart. Pull them apart, and I think it's as simple as just editing text. So yeah, I don't think we should overcomplicate the problem. It's just my opinion. I don't like overcomplicating problems. Oh yeah, by the way, you can find the link here. You can also click on the playlist, and for genetic programming, I created a separate playlist. There's literally a playlist called genetic programming. So yeah, all right. So my point is, let's just keep everything simple and not overcomplicate anything. We just need to pull apart some code. Alrighty. Now I should be able to do the following thing. I should be able to remove this entire stuff, right? And also remove this entire stuff. So I have a UI, and I simply do exec, right? Exec UI. And that starts the execution of the UI. So it initializes ncurses. It is box_din like a pointer in C that allows you to mutate parameters in different scopes? As far as I know, din does not belong to box. Din, as far as I know, has nothing to do with box. It has something to do with the type here. So yeah, and din trait, it's a dynamic trait, so it basically enables polymorphism in Rust, right? And it has to be wrapped in box as well. Yeah, there's also separately impl widgets, like impl traits, and they're slightly different. They're closer to C++ contracts. But here, essentially, we have a pointer to widgets, and that pointer is polymorphic. So as far as I know, it also has a virtual table, and it can hold different implementation of widgets, and calling any methods there are going to be like basically polymorphic methods. Out9, welcome. Welcome to the streams. Welcome. How are you doing? Is box like smart pointers? I think it's more of a unique pointer. I'm not quite sure. I think it's more of a unique pointer. But unique pointer is a smart pointer, right? Is it not? All right. So I'm pulling code port. The box is a heap allocated object. I see. Let's actually, let me actually read more about it. Pointer type to heap allocation. Does it implement drop interface? What happens when you drop it? Do they have anything in documentation? Everything has to implement drop. Hello Dennis, welcome to the stream. A question for you, sir. Why do you not use a big fancy graphical IDE like Eclipse or similar? Because I have a very old and weak laptop, and when I'm streaming, right, I'm streaming from the same laptop that I actually work from. So my laptop cannot handle that, unfortunately. You can take a look at my temperature of my CPU right now. It's already 98 Celsius, so it's quite bad. It's actually quite bad. If I'm gonna use like a fancy IDEs like Eclipse, which nobody uses anymore, by the way, everybody uses IntelliJ IDE, it's gonna be completely dead. So is that CPU correct? Yes, it is. My laptop is dying. All right, so let me take a look. What I was thinking about, I was thinking about actually importing this kind of stuff, VBox. Oh yeah, I forgot what I was thinking about. I forgot what I was thinking about. So drop. Does it do any reference counting? No, it probably doesn't. So how does it manage memory? Can you copy it? Is it clonable? It is clonable. So I don't understand. So can it result in a memory leak then? Or that's really strange. You can clone it as well. So when the memory allocated, the heap allocated resource is deallocated, because drop frees the memory it allocated. So, and what if you cloned books? What if you cloned books? So how is it going to work? I actually want to conduct an experiment. I'm really curious what the hell is going on. All right. So I would understand if the box was equivalent. It makes another alloc. Oh, and copy is the internal. And copy is the internal. Okay, I see. Okay, that actually makes sense. So I don't need to conduct an experiment. So it just copies the internal value, makes another alloc. I see. That makes sense. For some reason, I thought it acts like a unique pointer in C++. A unique pointer in C++ is not copyable, right? So you can only move it around. That's why deallocating the resource in the destructor of unique pointer is okay, because you can never copy it. And then I thought, like, you can copy box, and how does that make any sense? Okay, it just makes another allocation. Thank you, everyone. All right, makes sense. So what I want you to do, I want you to just import all of these things here. including maybe item list. And the reason why I want to do that is because I want to execute UI like this. I want to do lib like that. Hello, Nutrix Life, welcome to the stream. You can't actually copy box, you just clone it. Oh, I think in my sentence I used copy and clone interchangeably. Okay, so, and yeah. Yeah, you have to, you know, on top of that, you have to explicitly clone it, right? So if you try to pass it somewhere that accepts box, it will either move it or clone it if you do .clone. All right, that makes sense. I think it does make sense. All right, so so okay, so lib.rs 237 and cannot find trait widgets. Okay, so there's only one single widget. So we also need to have a set hook. Let me move some of the stuff there. Is there any more difference than copy is implicit, clone is explicit? I think, in my opinion, no. But I don't really program in Rust that much, so maybe some of the Rust people can answer that. But I think it's just the only difference I can see. All right, so no render found. So 251, I cannot render the UI. I wonder why. Maybe this is because I'm supposed to accept box. And okay, so this is unreachable statement. All right, I see. So this is straight up unreachable statement, which is, I mean, which is warning, and no, that's scary, but overall. I don't quite understand why it, okay, so now it jumps. UI has to be mutable. Let's put a mute here then. Hopefully that will do a trick. All right, so overall, okay, there's one error that we still need to fix, and that error is actually importing text for like from here. Yep, and we only have warnings here, which is okay. Yeah, so so this statement is unreachable, and I wonder how can we make it reachable? Does it even make any sense to make it reachable? That's not because Emacs is as heavy, it's just Emacs is a single thread. Does Mikio work for struct fields as well? I don't think so. I think it doesn't work for it as well. Yeah, it will. It will also. So of course it propagates to yeah, to fields as well. I thought you meant something like here. I don't think you can put them here, right? But yeah, it actually propagates on the whole type. So I'm just thinking, what if I just don't do that then? So because it's unreachable anyway, unless we can sort of have some sort of a global variable that indicates that the time has come to exit. Right. So for example, can I have like a, no, I probably cannot have a global variable, like something static. Yeah, I remember that because it's gonna warn me about that. Okay. Right, to do some there is no proper exit condition for the event loop. So what I want to do here is to have some sort of function. You know how to avoid using boxed in some trait using impl? Just do type erasure yourself. Okay, thank you. That's a cool idea. All right. So in curses. So this is unused import. This is unused import, and and here I do actually move. But it said that it's unused import. What the fuck? Am I Bebega? Yes, I am Bebega because it's supposed to be main. But seriously, that's how any error does that. To avoid using boxes, it's a error type because box is a fat pointer. Oh, I see. But I don't think it just matters for us right now because we're experimenting, right? We're just trying things out. So yeah, maybe at some point when we're gonna, you know, tidy everything up, we'll try to do something similar, but probably not right now. Alright, okay, so I separated the library and everything else. I wonder if I can even do something like this. So I'm just gonna put the whole UI here, and there you go. Here's the whole framework, right? So you do something like this. You provide the tree here, and it will just organize everything for you and executes it and stuff like that. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, it compiles, and let's do cargo run, and it seems to be working, and I can even Control-C it, and it seems to be working as well. Okay, cool. So this is the first step in separating the library and the examples. Right, the library and the examples. You know what? How do you actually initialize the library? I want to do cargo help. So, do you do cargo init or cargo new? Create a new cargo package. Alright, so I want to try something. Burp. Okay. Cargo new. Initialize cargo package. So if I just do cargo init, okay, it creates a binary application. But can I do, okay, right, cargo init lib. Cool, thank you so much. This is actually super cool. So because I wanted to know how do you usually organize the libraries. It was actually my huge mistake of making it executable. Okay, it is literally lib.rs and okay, cool. So I'm actually moving in the right direction. Yeah. Okay, cool. So this is that, and I actually want to create a separate branch, separate examples. Right, there we go, separate examples. So let's not include examples yet. Let's only include these two things where we separated everything, and we're going to do separate library from the usage of it. Have a look at project layout. Okay, thank you. I'll check it out. lib.rs, benches, examples, simple rs. Okay, cool. I guess this is what I was looking for actually. Examples go in the build, integration tests. I wonder if you have to put something special into cargo toml to build samples, or are they going to build automatically? Also this. Okay. Oh my god, this is what I was looking for. Thank you so much for that. At the beginning of the stream, I was looking how to build examples, because I remember that according to the cargo layout, you can have examples there, but it was so difficult to find how to like properly set it up. I don't know why, because I'm Pepega apparently. Thank you so much. This is actually super useful. Separate library from the usage code, maybe. I don't know. And I'm gonna push that right into the repo. Right. So I want to just organize everything at the beginning properly. Right. So the usage code goes into the examples, the actual library in SRC, and everyone is happy. All right. So examples, blah blah blah, create type static lib. I'm not sure if I need to do that. Examples use functionality provided by the library. When compiled, they are placed in the debug. Examples use, they're also linked with dependencies defined by cargo terminal. All right. So the next step is going to be, I don't think I need this cargo terminal here. Taking this main, right? We're going to take this main, and we're going to try to, you know, build it like that. And I'm pretty sure it's not going to build. Because I probably need to do something with the modules, right? But I'm gonna just, you know, start working towards all of that. And of course, everything shifted. The anchors have been shifted, and they don't want to unshift, so I have to restart my page. And now they are shifted properly. Okay. It's kind of interesting. Do I have to have like this double thing? You can specify the create type field. Okay. I don't understand. I probably have to read it properly. I don't understand how to use that. Use the provided examples, use public API. By default, examples are executed binaries. Okay. By default, examples are okay, so by default I don't need that. Right, by default I don't need that. So let me give it a try then. Calculate with example. Okay, so let's go ahead and build it. Like, this documentation is a little bit confusing. They're talking about things that I probably don't need, and I don't understand what they're talking about them. All right. Okay, so if I introduce like a compilation error here, will it fail? It doesn't fail. That means it doesn't build it. Do I have to build examples? Do I have to build examples? Okay, finally. So it fails. This is what I was looking for. So how do I import this library then? Do I have to use the name of the library instead of lib? Is that what I have to do? I probably don't even have to use mod because it's sort of a crate. Right. So, and okay, so that means everything is... Okay, that's cool. All right. So I didn't even have to do that. Like, I just saw some parameters here and they made me automatically assume that I have to put something in my toml. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone. Now, if I try to run the examples, I have to provide the name of the example. Right now, it's called main. No. It's a single example. Yeah, there we go. And I'm trying to run it from Emacs, and my Emacs having a seizure. Nice. I really like that. All right. So let's cargo run example main. Yeah, there we go. So now we finally separated examples from the library itself. This is actually so cool. I like that. I really, really like that. Nice. Okay, so I kind of want to rename that example. Let's actually call it grid. So it's going to be called grid. And if I try to run it like grid, yeah, there we go. Introduce a grid example. Can you Vim do that? Get seizures? I think it can, if you use like a built-in terminal or something like that. And well, I mean, whatever, doesn't matter. But I'm pretty sure there's a lot of way to give Vim seizures. All right. One of the things I wanted to be able to do is to be able to quit the loop or quit the application like more or less gracefully. I don't think Vim gets seizures from incursors inside. I'm pretty sure Emacs doesn't. It just depends on what kind of terminal you're using, right? So if you use like a proper terminal inside of Emacs, right, it's also not going to have any seizures and it's going to work properly. Well, It's trying. If for some reason it doesn't detect, you know, the resizing, but okay, whatever. Emacs bad, I get it. Emacs bad. Anyways. So yeah, I want to be able to exit from the event loop. I think I already created to do. I think return. Oh, it's I don't have it installed. It's a third-party thing. Yeah, I'll probably have to install it then. Emacs GUI is actually good. Well, it's not bad, I suppose. So there is a little bit of this thing, which I think should not be in the text, right? So we have like a custom event handler in the text where we handle keys, and I think we should move it into the example as well. What if you ran the app inside TMUX inside the terminal from Emacs? Sure. And cargo run example grid. So okay. Oh, it works. The fuck? It actually works. I'm surprised. All right, that wasn't expected, but yeah. All right. So what I want to do here is I want to move this thing outside of the widget itself, right? And I want to make a like inherit this text. But of course, there's no inheritance in Rust because, duh. It's 2020. Who uses OOP in 2020? Cringe. So yeah. So we're gonna introduce something like my text, right? So this is my text, which basically wraps around the text, and also we're gonna implement a widget for that text, right? Widget for my text, and let's see how it's gonna go. Cargo build examples. All right, so what do we have here? We need to implement. Oh, okay. So we'll have to have widgets here. So we need to implement these methods. Cool. And now, if I want to render this entire thing, I suppose I just call self-text render, and I actually have to pass that rectangle to it, right? So I just call the super method. Then, if I want to handle the events, this is where I have to do them, right? So struct impl widget for text. Where is the event handling? So I want to move this entire event handling to here, right? So, and now the initial widget, the initial text widget doesn't do any handling, but it's our custom user code that does, right? And now, instead of using like text, we have to use my text. Wrapping constructed in order to provide the initial function is actually idiomatic code KW. Yeah, I know. And what's funny is that I do that all the time in Haskell. It's also an idiomatic way to do that in Haskell. And I quite often do that in C as well. So, yeah, I suppose Rust also likes this kind of approach. It's basically composition over inheritance. Yeah, exactly. I kind of like it better because then you can have multiple inheritance, right? Multiple inheritance without problem of like diamond inheritance, like in C++ and stuff like that. I kind of like it. I think it's a more like better approach. So basically, you have several objects, like if you're talking about OOP, you have several objects with different behaviors, and you want to have an object that sort of combines these two behaviors. Well, you create an object that composes these several objects, the behavior of which you want to combine, and it's so natural and just makes sense. It just, in my opinion, it makes more sense than inheritance, right? You want to combine the behavior, you compose them into a single one. Makes perfect sense. And then through like proxy methods, you kind of choose what sides of behavior you want to expose of these objects. Like sometimes it behaves like that object, but sometimes it behaves like another one, and it just you can choose that. All right. And this is basically what I wanted to do here, right? So. Okay, so this is going to be my text. If I try to compile all of that... Oh, shit. So, oh, yeah, so this one is not used. I'm going to make it like that. What else? We need event. Maybe I have to import everything, but I don't know. So we also have a line. Yeah, I think the time has come to just import everything. Just import everything. No field h align in my text. Oh, this is because you have to do it like, oh god, oh god. Okay, so we have to do a little bit of Emacs magic. Self query replace with the regular expression. Self escape dot align. And we actually want to capture that, I think. We actually do want to capture that single thingy here. And we're going to replace that entire thing with a self dot text dot one align. Boom, boom. Okay, it preserved H and W, and I can just query replace this entire thing. Pretty goddamn epic. Pretty goddamn epic. All right. And it compiles. It compiles, as you can see. Hello to a step, welcome to the stream. But the problem here is that we're not using my text, right? We're not using my text. And if I try to do something like this, I'm incapable of realigning the texts, right? I cannot realign the texts. I need to start using my text instead of texts here. So I'm going to create my own wrapper, text. I'm actually going to go and append text. I'm just going to copy paste this entire thing here. So this is going to be my text, right? And oh shit, it's going to be box new. My text. The fuck? What the fuck is this shit? Rust, what the fuck? That's a lot of text, yeah, I know. Nice library, yeah, I know. And it doesn't work even, okay. You also have to provide like the thingies. Does text have a impl text? Okay, it fucking doesn't. Alright. So we also have to specify the initial alignment of this thing. Yeah, text factory. H align. H align. So horizontal one is going to be left. How many text does it take to add a single text? A lot of text. We align top. There we go. So that's how it's going to go. Yeah, and it compiles. It compiles. I didn't want to print anything. Thank you so much. It's kind of annoying to use Emacs where you navigate by using Control-N and Control-P, because Control-N means next line and Control-P means previous line. And sometimes you switch to the browser, and guess what's going to happen if you start pressing like rapidly Control-N and Control-P? Control N creates a new tab, Control P tries to print the document, and you having these weird reflexes start like rapidly typing that, and it just Chromium has a seizure every fucking time. The struggle is real. If you thought that was funny, could I link an image for your entertainment? You can try, but the bot is probably going to time you out because we've never seen you before. Maybe we've seen, but you're not very active in the chat. So... Alrighty, so it seems to be compiling, and if I try to use it, okay, so that means I also have to do... I have to quickly replace this stuff like that. So this is going to be my text. Am I Pepega? I think I am. There we go. Alright, so let's try to recompile that one more time. And if I try to run it, and yeah, there we go. So we now have a custom text where we can realign these kind of things. Yeah, and it works. So it's not a behavior of the library anymore, it's the behavior of the example itself. Right. So, which is quite important. So you basically create like a wrapper around the text and you implement your own like behavior. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So, and let's do a committee, and maybe then even push. Alright. So what did we do here? Move text event RCU text event handling to the grid example. That would go. I'm gonna push that right into the repo. You can find the source code here. It's open source, available for everyone. And yeah. Let's continue. Another thing I want you to be able to do is to be able somehow quit from the event loop, because right now event loop is unquittable. Seriously, it's literally unquittable. We're using loop, which is infinite loop, and for your application, there's no way to exit gracefully and right, unless you're using exit or something or panicking, but it's not really great. So we need some sort of like a graceful way of exiting. So essentially what I want to be able to do, I want to be able to call something like quit, right? Just call quit from inside of one of my custom widgets. So in my custom widget, I'm probably going to handle a key, right? And then I would call something like RCU quit, and it will quit the event loop of the currently running application. Something like a lock. Yeah, probably. So I'm thinking of like a global variable, right? And quit basically sets that global variable to true, and on the next iteration of the event loop, it will check the variable and just quit. So yeah, I think that's going to be the idea. I think I know how we even do that. Like global variables are kind of difficult in Rust because Rust tries to save you from multi-threading problems even in not multi-threading applications, which is kind of funny. But yeah, so essentially you can use global variables only behind a mutex or only if they're atomic. So, and I think for a multi-threading applications, for a single threading applications, an atomic is actually a good choice because it doesn't have a runtime cost of like a mutex, and it also makes the Rust compiler to shut up about multi-threading problems in a single threading environment. So, and this is exactly, by the way, what I did in CM. This is exactly what I did in CM for my Control-C module, right? Essentially, I have a global variable, static Control-C, and it's atomic Boolean, right? And essentially, like, Rust allows that, and I think this is what we're gonna use here. Yeah, I know, but this is not related to the atomic Boolean. This is a completely different thing here, right? So, yeah. so the quitting is going to be just storing storing true to the atomic, and checking it is probably going to be swapping it, and so on and so forth. I think I'm going to actually just pretty much copy paste this entire thing, but I'll have to import it like this. Right. So sing atomic boolean. It also has some sort of ordering thingy. So I'm going to put it somewhere here. So it's going to be like that. Static quit. It's not going to be public, so it's going to be private to the library itself. So it's going to be false, and every time you quit it, right, what we're going to do, we're going to store true to the quit. Right. And on each iteration of event loop, what we're going to do here, we're going to do while swap false, not true. So essentially what swap does, it stores this value into the atomic, but also returns the previous one, right? And this is what we're going to do. So basically on each iteration we're just trying to reset this variable to false, but once we get true, that means somebody called quit, and that means we'll have to quit on the next iteration of event loop, and on the next iteration of event loop we'll have to do something like add end win to clean everything up. And I think this is the way to go. Essentially, while handling some events, you will be able to just call something like rcu quit, and then it will quit gracefully. It will wait until the next iteration of event loop, just check that and clean everything up and just, you know, exit. I think it makes sense. I think it does make sense. All right, so everything seems to be compiling, and right now we're not really handling. Right now we're not really calling that thing anywhere. So I have an interesting idea, actually. I have an interesting idea for a wrapper that you put as the root of your UI. So quitting not triggered by a key press will require one. Yes. So basically you will need to create a widget that handles, for example, Q, and on Q it will call the quit of the library. Why I use atomic boolean? Because I explained it like 10 minutes ago. Welcome to the stream. Because Rust will complain if I don't use it. Make channel single, notify is how it's done in Go. Oh, I see. All right. So the shortest answer is because Rust wants me to. For more detailed answer, I would recommend you to actually go back in WOD and just watch a full explanation. Jiang, what's up? What's up, Jiang? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Really glad to see you. So we continue to develop this thing, and look at how the library looks like. Let me show you. This is how it looks like now. So the entry point to the framework is this function, and you just pass your declarative description of UI there, and it organizes the event loop, and it passes events to your UI tree, and then your UI tree is supposed to handle all of that. So this is how it works right now. Yeah. So essentially I have an idea for a widget, right? I have an idea for a widget. Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. I really like it. So I'm gonna call it like quit. It's a quit widget. What's interesting about this thing is that it essentially wraps around another widget. All right, we're gonna call it a root, and it's a box din widget. So, and by itself, the quit is also a widget. So I could have actually handled quit in one of the texts, but the problem is that it's too deep in the tree. So you don't want to handle quit event while being too deep inside of the tree, because it will take some time to actually get there. Something like quit you want to actually handle as soon as possible, and I think it should be handled at the root. So that's why I'm creating this like special thingy here. So I'm going to show you how it's done. So we'll have to implement these methods like this. Yep. So rendering, so it's gonna basically proxy the rendering to the inner widget, right? It's gonna be just render rect, and that's it. Prevent default. I forgot what it is. God damn it. It's something JavaScriptish. Wait a second. JavaScript prevent default. Something with the callbacks, is it not? Yeah. Oh shit, I remember that stuff. It gives me PTSD. Methods tells you that if the event does not get explicitly, the default action should. Oh yeah. I just. Why did you remind me about that loss algorithm? Okay, thank you so much. God damn it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Well, I'm actually joking. So yeah. But look at that. I remember something from the web. Nice. There is no ex web developers, am I right? So once web developer, forever web developer. So, and essentially in that widget, so this is a quit widget. The only thing we do, we just handle this thing. You get tainted, yeah. And if you press, yeah. If you press, I think, T, what you have to call here is quit. There we go. And on top of that, we might as well actually print something to actually demonstrate that it works, right? So let's print something like quitting gracefully. Ooh. All right. So and how is it supposed to work? I think we need some sort of yeah. So you have your whole tree, and you wrap your tree into quit like that. There we go. So essentially, when an event happens and RCU sends an event down your UI tree, it first will be handled by quit, right? It first will be handled by quit, and if quit sees T, it will instantly send quit, and that entire thing will just quit. Yeah, it will stop the iteration. Well, at least it will mark it as the time is to quit. Yeah, it's not gonna quit instantly, because after that you also have to do the following thing. You have to pass down that event to your root, right? So what's interesting is that all of your elements of your tree will still have an opportunity to handle that event until the next iteration of the event loop. Not sure if it's a good idea, but that's generally how it's going to work, right? So if you want to handle like particular events at particular points of widgets, you will have to create this sort of like a fake widgets that don't do anything, and they just proxy a particular behavior. And I'm thinking, can we just create something like struct proxy that essentially holds the root? Basically what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to like generalize quit, right? All right, first of all, let's actually test if this entirety works, and then I will try to generalize this idea, because creating like a proxy object for each individual situation is very inconvenient, and I think we can basically create like a general proxy object that also stores your lambda and calls your lambda like here. Yeah, I think it's gonna be actually a pretty cool idea. Yeah. So let's try to compile that and see if it's compilable. So match key. Oh shit, I'm an idiot. So it has to be. Yeah, first you have to do it like that. Why am I using mouse? I mean. Why am I using mouse? I don't quite understand. All right, so quit mismatched type. Oh, because you have to wrap that in the box as well. It has to be in the box. Does it really have to be in the box? Maybe we can just do something. So can we just do it like that? I don't quite understand why it doesn't work. I need to read the error. You need... I see, I see. So, alright. Oh, we can actually do a very interesting... Yeah, so I think for this case I'm not gonna actually do anything. There we go. Okay, so now, if I press T, it quits. Okay, cool. So, that's actually pretty cool. Yeah. So if you want to handle quitting, you'll have to create this kind of widget, right? You'll have to create this kind of widget and wrap this thing around. And I'm thinking maybe I'm gonna also create a helper, a fan quit. I'm not really sure because I already have a quit there, but yeah. Hello, Hemikoe, welcome to the stream, welcome. So I'm just thinking whether I want to make this quitter a part of the library or not. We'll see. So let me actually commit and say introduce quit proxy widget. Proxy widget. So I'm gonna push that right into the repo. And the experiment that I wanted to conduct here, by the way, is can we create a more general version of the quit proxy widget? Right. So let's actually literally introduce something like proxy. Yeah, let's call it proxy. So it's gonna have a root. Yep. Then widget. And also handler. And handler is going to be a lambda. Right, a lambda that accepts an event, some sort of an event, and returns nothing, I suppose. What is the lambda type? I forgot. How did you find lambda types? If it will be part of this standard, it should include an option to change the quit key in mode. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. So that's why I'm trying to come up with more general solution, and more general solution is going to be a proxy. I'm gonna show you what it means. So, so I have like this weird abstract idea in my head, and I just want to implement it super quick. So how do you define like type lambdas? I forgot yet again. So see, I did that in migrations. Yeah, you do that as a fan. Blah 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 blah. All right. So, but what if you don't return anything? So what if you return unit or void? I think you shouldn't have this thing here then. Let's try it like that. I wonder if it's gonna work or not. Let's try to compile that. Okay, it works apparently. Yeah, a lambda that doesn't return anything is just like that. All right. So if we implement a widget for proxy, how's gonna work? So fn render self rect, and we just take the root and we render it like that. So we're just proxying this entire thing. Then if we want to handle events, this is where the fun begins, right? This is where the fun begins. We'll have to pass this thing to the handler first, right? And only then proxy to the root. There we go. So this is how it's gonna go. And I also gonna create a field is not a method. Really? So there is like a very important semantical difference between methods and fields. And so Rust explicitly tells you to wrap around fields so you don't confuse them with methods. That is very interesting, actually, and it kind of makes sense, I suppose, because yeah, just explicitly tells you this is a field, you call in a function in a field, and yeah, okay, makes sense. Interesting choice, yeah, very interesting. So now I also want to create a helper. It's called Proxy. So, and it's gonna actually accept both root and... I don't know, it feels like this kind of helpers should be part of the implementation, right? So... yeah, I think so. So we can implement something like impl proxy, and maybe call it box. Ah, goddammit, you can call it, but box is a keyword. Interesting. Let's call it new. So what we're gonna accept here, we're gonna accept root and handler, right? You're gonna accept root and handler. But on top of that, we're also gonna return dim widget, right? So this is how we're gonna do that. And so maybe handler should be first, because yeah, I think ergonomically, from the ergonomic point of view, it's gonna be more convenient because you want to provide the handler first, and then you want to provide the tree itself. And essentially how we're going to do that is going to be in box. You can have a field and method with the same name, I think. Oh, that's actually makes sense. So it's like a consequence of this design. Right, so this is a self and root and handler. You can even merge it like that, I suppose. There we go. So now, can I use proxy instead of the quitter? Let's find out. So I'll have to remove this thing. It's going to be proxy new, and the first argument here has to be an event, right? And you have to do something in event here, and the second thing here is going to be the root itself. Yep. So this is the root itself. And then I can do it like that, I suppose. And here's the proxy. Cool. So essentially, what we'll have to do here is like this. And we'll just copy paste this entire thing here. Yeah. So you see, it's still all declarative. So basically, we sort of like say that this handler will be executed before anything will be passed to this tree. So it sort of like embeds into the tree, and it's a more general solution than just quitter, right? And you can actually turn any function or any lambda that accepts event into this kind of proxy to handle an event before anything else down the tree is going to handle that. Yeah. So I guess that's how it works. All right, so let's try to compile that, and it does in fact compile. So let's actually remove, and this is something that could be part of the standard library, because now you can customize your key, right? With the proxy, it just doesn't matter. It just lets you sort of wrap the widget, right? It lets you wrap the widget, and then you can handle it yourself. All right, so let's remove the quit. I don't think it's that useful of a thing. Implementing my text with proxies. Oh shit, so that's actually... Okay, wait a second. Like, I was surprised you ever talk about it. Yeah, because I had a lot of problem with Rust compilation and borrow checker, so yeah. Alright, so this is actually a very interesting idea. Can we just move that into the proxies? I think we should be able to. Proxies is actually a super cool mechanism. I kind of like it. Alright, so let me see. I'm gonna press T. It worked. It actually worked. Alright, so and let's actually move the proxy into the standard library. So we're gonna move it into the lib and grid. I'm gonna have here Finally, a useful mechanism. Who would have thought that we're gonna have an actually useful mechanism? Yep. Boom. Let's try to compile now, and probably it's not gonna compile because there's some stuff here. This has to be public. All right. So, and this stuff I think needs to be public. What does Proxy do? It does the thing that I explained 10 minutes ago. Welcome to the stream. All right. So, but basically, it lets you handle the events before the widget. Before the widget, the proxy wraps. So you have a widget, you wrap it with a proxy, and the proxy will handle event before it will pass it to any of these widgets here. Make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. All right. So what do we have here? Function is never used. But that's not true. Okay. So this thing also has to be like this. Cool. Now, event still. Yeah, it kind of is. I wonder if the proxy should also have an option to stop event propagation. All right. For example, if we exit, we can also return true, right? And the proxy will see. Okay, so that means we don't have to propagate that further, and it will not do that. Man in the middle widget, yeah. So, but I'll think about it, or maybe we'll need that, maybe not. It seems useful, but that also doesn't seem super intuitive because, yeah, like returning true or false is just like looks kind of weird. We'll see. We'll see. And press T, and everything seems to be working. All right. Replace quit widget with the standard proxy mechanism. End-to-end widgets when. Could be useful for replacing widget logic. Yeah, I suppose. But what's interesting is that if you're making your own wrapper for a widget, right? If you're making your own wrapper, you still choose to propagate it further or not. One of the things that I've seen Andreas Kling do is the iteration decision enum. Iteration decision. Huh. Oh, so instead of Boolean, you have more options on how to propagate the events, right? Because with Boolean, it's just either propagate or not, but iteration decision, it will just do that slightly different. Is that what you mean? Okay. Oh, shit. And it's actually, yeah, it makes sense. So, and here, I can do something like iteration decision break. Yeah, it actually looks better than true, because what the fuck is true? Because, and to know what is true, I have to look into the definition of this function, so I need to find the definition of this function and look so on and so forth. So it's really inconvenient. So yeah, iteration decision. Okay, it makes more sense at least. Okay, maybe at some point we're gonna do that, but until we actually need this mechanism, I don't think we're gonna have that. It actually doesn't print quitting gracefully, unfortunately. Oh, I know what we're gonna do. So if we quit it gracefully, that means we technically should be able to reach this point, right? Because call and quit will exit this function, right? And also we'll clean up the incurses and stuff like that. So if I do something like this, and as you can see, quitting gracefully, so it worked correctly. Nice. Did you just say no? You said it. I didn't say anything. All right, so this one is going to be just quit, and I think I'm going to do it like that. So, small cleanup. There we go. This is going to be small cleanup. Folding just because of that. All right, noted. I'm gonna start saying uwu more, so that means I'll get more followers. By the way, thank you for the following. Hello. No. So the idea was to move that into the proxy as well. The problem here is that we don't really have an access to the original root. So that's kind of a problem. So I don't think it's going to be easy to do that in proxies. Arch Alessus, mein Gott. That was loud. Sorry if it was loud. Thank you so much for 15 months of tier mother flipping 3 subscription. Jesus fucking Christ, you too generous, dude. Thank you. You don't have to, but I really appreciate that. And welcome to our epic Rust programming club. How about that? So we have like a declarative UI framework, as you can see. So you basically describe like a UI tree like that. You can also have like these like proxies that can inject their own action when the action's in UI propagating. So yeah, we're designing this kind of framework, and it's actually super fun. Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised how fun it is. So I get to apply a lot of ideas that I had in my head while implementing CM. So yeah, and yeah, I don't think we're gonna extract that because proxies right now don't have an access to the root, but maybe they should. I see the TUI framework business is going well. It's actually going quite well, thank you. So my idea of letting proxies have an access to the root is the following. Let's actually go there. So essentially we can change the handler from this to actually accessing box.din widget, but the problem is that we already lost any type information here, right? So that means we're gonna have only like very limited access to the widget. What if the UI root is public? It's already public, but it's kind of difficult to access it anyway. It's difficult to access public root from the handler, right? Unless we pass it, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do here. So I'm gonna do something like self root, right? But the problem is, root is widget. It's an abstract widget, but to implement this logic, I need to access to the text itself because widget doesn't have any of these fields, and we already lost type information about text. So yeah, we can only have like a very limited access to the widget, unless we have some sort of a type information here, right? Which may complicate things or may not, right? And I don't know. I'll need to think. So I think as a first pass, I'm gonna just make it like that, right? So basically, handler also get an access to the root, right? It also gets the access to the root. And what's funny is that since it has an access to the root, it now has an opportunity to decide whether to continue propagating the event or not. So here we have root, right? And you basically choose to propagate it further. Root handle event or not. You see what I'm talking about? Right. So basically the proxy itself does not propagate it. You, as the handler, propagate it. Like you just put it further. Make sense? At least for now. Not sure, maybe later we're gonna have like an iteration decision situation. But yeah. So poke you. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So handler, and also it also have to accept the box thingy. Jesus Christ, the more I use these like generic dynamic things, the more code becomes like scarier. I don't know. This is actually kind of scary, to be fair. And it doesn't even compile, dude. It doesn't compile. Oh shit. Oh shit. Okay. Move occurs because self root has and copy, and if I try to clone it, that will clone the whole thing. Like, okay, I see. So I suppose that's why the type of this entire thing has to be reference. We're passing books by reference. That is very interesting. I think I'm going too deep into the rabbit hole. I think I'm going way too fucking deep into the rabbit hole, and I'm sure if I will be able to actually go out of it. Alright, so, and, okay, so I passing it by the reference. Is it gonna even fucking work? Alright, and in here, you, okay. Okay, cool. So I actually put it in the wrong place. Oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, I know, reference box, it's very funny. Cannot borrow as mutable as it behind the... Oh, it also has to be... Oh, wait a second. This thing needs to be mutable. Chat. I think I'm going crazy. Chat. I think I'm fucking going crazy. Yep. Well, it works, but I don't like the end result. I really don't like the end result. It's fucking disgusting. This shit is fucking disgusting, dude. God damn it, Frost. Alright, let's go back. I think we have to go back. Ah, shit. When my bottle is empty, it's actually very unstable. Okay, so I'm definitely going back. I think like having an access to the root is actually quite bad. You should probably type alias box. Yeah, I should probably, but at the same time, I think I don't want to go deep into that. I don't think it's necessary right now. So yeah, essentially I'm gonna just do it like that. Self root. Because this is not even needed right now, so it was just a hypothesis how it's gonna look like, and it doesn't really look great right now, and I don't think it's needed right now. Anyway, so let's actually go to other compilation errors. So we're not gonna do that. Anything else? We're not gonna do that because we're already automatically propagating everything. Already automatically propagating everything. Cool. So does it compile? It does in fact compile. Okay, so what do we have here? That's the only change I made. Alright. Small reformatting. Right, let's push that right into the repo. And I think we're ready to finally make a pull request. Wait a second, can you not do din widget? I have no idea. I also don't know Rust. Let's actually find out. So it's going to be fn f x din widget. That would be actually kind of cool. I think it kind of makes sense. Oh shit, you can't. Wait a second. But what's funny is that... Alright, what if it's mutable? Can I have it as a mutable? I can have it as a mutable. Alright, that's very interesting. But the problem is that I cannot easily store this reference inside of the structure, because one of the things I do, right, I store that inside of the structure. Right. And yeah, I technically can store it, but it means a huge pain in the ass in terms of the lifetimes, right? So I have to put lifetimes everywhere, and maybe not. Maybe in the modern Rust is not that big of a problem, but yeah. Free Foo, welcome to the streamers. Welcome. Okay, so I think we're ready to go. RC, I don't think we need RC. Okay, so can I do something like, I want to actually do clipping, just to check if I didn't do any major fucky-wucky. You know, major fucky-wuckies are kind of bad. New methods called new usually return self. Okay, let's call it wrap then. Major Fakiwaki Kikom. Major Fakiwaki reporting. Right. So. Wait a second. Did it even check the examples? Can I do Clippy examples? Oh, I can do Clippy examples. Nice. Yeah. Wrap. So this is what we're gonna go here, and so you seem to be trying to use match for destructuring a single pattern. Consider using if let. I mean, I can even do it like that, right? Without any if let. So I don't think it's really clippy. They took it too far, yeah. Alright. Clippy more like trippy, yeah. So I also want to double check if everything builds. Can I build all? I wonder if it builds all. Okay, apparently I can build all. Does it build like everything? All. Alias for workspace deprecated. Build all packages in the workspace. All right. So examples and not examples. I suppose building examples also build the libraries, so I didn't think it makes sense to do just a regular build. Fix Clippy remarks, right, there we go. And I also want to do cargo FMT. So I'm not really sure why exactly I'm doing that, because I don't have a CI, but maybe this is something that I have to set up as well. So it's a cargo all targets, okay. Build all targets, there we go. All right, thank you so much. I guess it built something. Fix FMT remarks, and I'm gonna push that right into the repo. Let's create a pull request. Does it even make sense to create a pull request? We don't have any CI. Let's maybe create CI. Is Rust worth picking up over C or Go? I don't want to get bogged down learning too many languages. If you don't want to get bogged down by learning too many languages, don't learn any languages, I suppose. Just stick with whatever you want, whatever you already know. Yeah. Yeah, I actually agree with you, Frifo. Rust and Go are not comparable, and I have no idea why people compare it. I think it's actually like forced by a marketing between Google and Mozilla, right? Like so, like I said, Rust really only makes sense if you know the lore of and to know the lore of C++, you also have to know the lore of C, and it's just too much information to know. Like you have to just start learning all that stuff from the beginning. It's kind of too much. So yeah, so Go and Rust are not comparable at all, right? So, and the only reason why people compare, I think it's some sort of like a marketing situation when, you know, Mozilla is competing with Google, but Mozilla is pretty much dead, so I don't know. To appreciate C, you need to know assembly. Which one though? Because there are compilers of C to pretty much any architecture. So which assembly do you need to know to appreciate C? All of them? It's kind of too much, I think. All of them, I see. Separate examples. Okay, so this is the first pull request of today, without any CI apparently. So let's actually create an issue for CI. They both have mascots and they're relatively new, I suppose. Maybe. So we need CI. Verilog is the only true language. Yes, exactly. Imagine programming an assembly. Cringe. program directly in hardware. Okay, that's all the changes. Okay, this is all the changes that we made so far. And I think I'm ready to merge all of that. Scheiße. Guys, are you ready? I'm merging it. So it's available for everyone. Cool. So now, do we have any to-dos here? Text doesn't support wrapping around, so this is the only to-do that we have. I also kind of want to have a to-do for focus mechanism, some sort of like a focus mechanism, to determine what is focused right now and what's not, and stuff like that. And also we need to finish item list, right? Item list is not finished, right? It doesn't have a like add operations, remove operations. It doesn't have cursors at all, right? Item list is not finished, so this is another thing that I want to have here. Do we need anything else? Do we need anything else? Oh, we'll see, we'll see. Okay, so I already merged everything. So let me stash all of that and go back to the master and fetch the latest stuff. Merge the master and remove the branch. So, and all right, so here are the to-dos that I want to have, and I'm going to go ahead and snitch them up. Report, and what do we have? Text does not support wrapping around, it's okay. Item list is not finished. Focus mechanism, and we're going to, you know, report all of that back into the repo. So what I want to start working on right now, I want to actually finish the item list. Right, at least the basic stuff, like pushing into it, or removing. Having a cursor, by the way, would be actually super useful and stuff like that. So yeah. But before we go into that, I think I need to make a small break because I need to refill my water, right? I need to refill my water. I also need to pee and stuff like that. You know, the usual human stuff that I'm forced to do because I was born a fucking human. Alright, so small break, 3 minutes. Yeah. Okay, I think it's probably too much. Maybe even 4. Because I really need to do some extra stuff as well. Alright, so let's make a small break and you guys have fun. Well, that was unexpected. Within 2.5 minutes, I managed to pee, refill my bottle, and make a call. The fuck? That's really unexpected. But yeah, hello, welcome back, everyone. Why don't you add Suwon in your path? I don't know. Yeah, speedrunners. If ever you could do all of this at the same time. God damn. My brain just tried to visualize that. Okay. Thank you, Zhi. Really appreciate it. So let's finish the item list. So it's gonna be 4. Thought about it. I mean, my brain does that automatically. Sometimes I cannot control this kind of stuff. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes like I get like a weird idea and I can control my brain. My brain starts to actually thinking about it and visualizing it and stuff like that. It's just, yeah. All right, so what we need to do here. So the next thing is going to be implementing item list, right? An item list is this thing, right, on the top left corner. Like it's not really like distinguishable from anything else because it doesn't have that many features anyway. But yeah. And I think using item list is going to be its own separate example. So the first thing I probably want to do is go to the examples and remove item list from there. Right, so like this. This is going to be my text, and this one is going to be just hello, hello, right? And for demonstrating how item list works, we're going to have a completely separate example. I think it's going to be epic. So right, I'm going to actually do that. And yeah, as you can see, everything works correctly. So now we have only these kind of things. Cool. So this is going to be the first thing. Remove item list from grid example. It's not relevant for it. I'm gonna push that right into the repo. Yep. And maybe, I don't know what we're gonna do. Yeah, let's actually create like literally a separate example called item list RC. And welcome back, Outline. Welcome. I've read about one guy, it could be creator of Doom, but I'm not sure which, just read sources of Linux in evenings to have some fun. Yeah, I think I already heard about that. Welcome back, everyone. So this is what we can have here. What am I doing? Right. Fan main. So, and essentially I'm gonna do RCU exec and I read sources of Tsoding at night to have fun. Well, yeah, feel free to do so. So, do we have to add quitting gracefully? Ooh, yeah, I think we have to add that. So maybe it also makes sense to do this thing. Who needs Dogen? I don't know how to pronounce that word, but I know what that means. When you have Tsoding. I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm sorry. So this is this. I think what they meant is the source code written by me, not my personal source code. Or didn't they? Huh, maybe they meant my source code, like my DNA or something. Huh. Alright, so in here we're gonna have items. To be fair, yeah. Vec1 is gonna be foo bar buzz, and not that, but buzz, and we'll have to wrap all of that into the box, right? So, and let's see if it's gonna work. So using this framework is as simple as that, right? At least should be. It should be as simple as that. So let's try to run item list, and there you go. It works, seriously. So this is how you use it. So it just creates a list for you, and yep. And then if you try to exit, we have no way to exit unless we use a proxy. So we can do proxy proxy wrap, right? So, and we're wrapping this thing like this, right? And we'll have to provide a lambda that accepts an event. And how we're going to handle an event. So event should be, I think it has to be like this, event keystroke. So this is going to be key. And if key as u8 as char equal q, you'll have to call RCU quit. So which is not particularly great way of doing that, but so yeah, essentially this is how you can quit, but maybe we can yeah. So essentially what the proxy wrapper does is that it wraps around this tree and handles events before any of these elements here, and it lets you actually have a queue as a key that will exit everything. So alright, so now if I try to do that, I press Q, and as you can see, it said quitting gracefully. So calling RCU quit here will actually quit this loop. So this is how it works. This is how it works. Indentation hell, it's not really that much of an indentation hell because the framework is supposed to be declarative, right? We declaratively describe the UI, and that's basically this. So we describe in a tree, right? And we also can inject sort of like small lambdas into the tree to handle some things and stuff like that. I don't think it's that bad. Reinvented Flutter for TUI. I never tried Flutter, so I don't know. Bye bye, Yatanasov. Bye bye. See you around, hopefully. Alright. So this is the example of the item list. So, and that's probably going to be the first thing. We can actually put it into the grids of some sort, but probably not. Introduce item list example. Item list example, and let's push that right into the repo. Come on, you can do that. I believe in you. I believe in you. It did it. It actually pushed it. Would you look at that? My God. So what kind of stuff do we want to have here? I think we want to have something like a cursor at least, right? So yeah, literally, let's just call it cursor. Like, because we're developing UI for CM, and CM's item list does have a cursor, and I think we need to handle it properly. So, but to indicate the cursor, I think we should be able to render text slightly differently. So that means we'll have to initialize the styles and stuff like that. And in cursors is actually kind of painful. Excuse me. So essentially what you have to do, you have to first call start caller to be able to use callers at all. Then you have to identify what kind of callers you want to use, and you can only define them in pairs, right? You can only define them in pairs, and pair defined defines like background plus foreground, right? And then you assign a particular ID to that pair, right? And then you use that pair. So, and in CM I created this like style thingy where I predefined what kind of pairs I want to have, like a regular pair, like, you know, a white and black, right? So the cursor pair where things are inverted, and the unfocused cursor pair. So this one is focused when you have a focus, and this one is unfocused, and so on and so forth. So I think I can move some of this code to our framework. I think it would be actually a pretty good idea. Yeah, and I wonder if we want to let the user customize this kind of stuff, and wonder if it makes sense. But since we're designing a framework specifically for CM, I don't think we need to let the user customize anything. So let's just hard code the like the pairs, and we'll see how it goes. Lib, and I'm probably gonna introduce something like style rs, and I'm gonna copy paste this stuff from there. Right. So we only need these three, I think. We don't need these things yet, right? So I'm gonna keep them like that. So, I'm just thinking how I want to organize all of that. Maybe I want to inline. Did you see my macro suggestion? I think I didn't. Free. I cannot type you. I like kind of wrapper around BC. How about macros for different widgets? Probably, but I'm not sure if it makes sense, because in majority of the situations we can get away with just functions. Like, it doesn't make any sense to add macros when you can just have a function. Does it make sense? So yeah. All right, so I'm gonna go and inline this stuff here. Where is the exec? So here's the exec. I've seen some more cursed stuff like this. Wait a second, let me see, what is that? This is a macro that takes an HTML as an input. Yeah, you can actually get the macros very far. I don't see anything. Is that a macro? I don't see anything, sorry. Oh, it's still... GitHub is such a pepega, Jesus Christ. Like, GitHub isn't capable of actually going there. Alright. It's kind of interesting. Does it receive it as a text or as a set of tokens or something? Huh. That's very interesting. All right, that's very dang. But we're probably not gonna do that. So yeah, thank you so much. All right, so I want to make this mod part of the RCU, and I also probably want to do. Can I do it like pub mod style, right? Or do I have to do it? Do I have to do it differently? I'm not quite sure. Let's actually try to compile that. Okay, so it complains about this thing is not existing. So I can just do something like this. So it's gonna be style. Is it gonna compile? Missing cursor. Okay, you also have to specify the cursor. But maybe that means we just have to implement a constructor for item list. So let's implement item list. I think I have to do it like that. Right, like that. And then we're gonna have a constructor. This is a WASM framework. If you didn't see, you could inline Rust code. Yeah, I saw that actually. So that's actually pretty interesting. Macros. I mean, I know about Rust macros, but yeah. So I know about them. I just didn't know that you can do this kind of stuff with them. Apparently, you can do a lot of things with them. I wonder what kind of access to the source code they have. Is it on the level of AST? It must be on the level of AST, but there's no HTML AST, so maybe they have access to the tokens as well. I don't know. Maybe we'll need to research that at some point. Okay, we're gonna have new, and I'm gonna accept items, like initial items. And for the rest of the things, we're going to have default parameters. So items is like that, and cursor is going to be just simply 0. All right, and then in the item list example, what I'm going to do, I'm going to just do new. Right. I'm just going to do new, and there we go. Right. There we go. Declarative macros have access to arbitrary tokens. Okay, that's why I started to mention tokens, because I could see that being implemented if you have an access to the tokens. Thank you, Adnan. Interesting. I heard that Rust was an alternative to C++ or C. I can't remember which one. Is that true? If it is, which should I learn? I have no idea. What do you want, though? What do you want from a career? So it depends on what you want. All right, seems to be working. It's working. Now we need to render the cursor. So we do text render. Oh, this is actually pretty cool. Just learn pseudocode. Yeah. So essentially, if we are selected, right? If a particular item is selected, it's selected when I is equal to the cursor, right? So this is basically when that happens. And we want to have a pair, caller pair, that we're gonna initiate for the rendering. If selected, right? If something is selected, we have to have. Let me go to the style. We have to have cursor pair. Otherwise, we have to have a regular pair. There we go. This is how it's gonna go. So, and after that, after that we have to activate the pair, but I forgot how to do that. Add str. Yeah, the function that activates the pair is called attr on. Basically stands for attributes on. Makes sense. Thank you very much. So you enable the attributes, and then after you're done rendering, you disable those attributes. So that's how it works. IAP SIP doesn't work. Oh yeah, thank you for reminding me, by the way, because I tried to update BTTV emotes on my bot, and was suffering for the same problem as Vodoo's emote downloader. Basically, the old API didn't let me to do that, so I need to actually update the API usage on KGBotka. So thank you for reminding me. Yeah, update BTTV API on KGBotka. So I'm gonna put that to my reminders. All right. So this is how we're gonna do that. And we'll see how it goes. So let's go. It doesn't work. Nice. Thank you so much. I have to put a semicolon here. Anything else? Yeah, this is a part of style. Right. This is definitely part of style. We have anything else? So this is a pair. Ah, it's a caller pair. Here we go. Next pair. Is this caller pair? Oh shit! Fucking works. Cool. And would you look at that? Would you fucking look at that? The first thing is selected there. We can increase the size of this thing, but yeah, it is selected now in an item list. And we need to implement some actions that let you go up and down. Let you go up and down. So yeah, should be pretty straightforward actually. So it's gonna be up. It's gonna take a mutable self, right? So this is the first one, and also down, which also takes a mutable cell, because every time you modify the cursor, you're modifying the item list. Yeah. And essentially, going up is subtracting the cursor. If cursor is greater than 0, we're gonna do what? We're gonna do what? We're gonna subtract from cursor -1. Right. If cursor is less than items len -1, then we do cursor +1. There we go. So this is going to be up and down. And the question is, how are we supposed to handle that? How are we supposed to handle all of that? That's a good question. Do we have to handle it inside of the widgets, or do we have to come up with some sort of like magical proxies that will let the user of the library to decide when to go up and when to go down? I kind of like the idea of the proxies. So, and I think the problem with the proxy is that it's not generic. I think proxy has to be generic. I think so. I think proxy has to be generic. Okay, let's try to compile all of that, and it does not compile because all of that has to be prefixed with the self. All of that has to be prefixed with the self. Yeah. So, and it seems to be working, it seems to be twerking. Would you look at that? All right. So let me commit that. Let me commit whatever we already designed here. For introduce cursor to the item list. There we go. So now it has a cursor. But what I could do here, I could handle keys myself inside of item list and actually make it move up and down. But I don't think it's a good idea. I think the user has to decide what to do with all of that, right? I think it's up to user. So, and let me try to redesign proxy. I think proxy has to be slightly different. I think proxy has to be a generic thingy. Right, and instead of actually storing this thing here, we have to store something like this. What do you guys think? I think like proxy have to have an access to like a hard, like to the copy, and should own the copy and stuff like that. Yeah. By the way, chat, why are you dead? Is everything okay? Is everything okay? Does anybody have any questions, maybe? You know what? I'm not gonna do that right now. I'm gonna actually have like a parallel tab. Because he was not good, he has been banned. I see. Interesting. The Ikora Bowl talking about banning people. Nice. I like that. So yeah, I want to have like a second version of the proxy that is less dynamic. So let's call it proxy 2. The reason why I want to call it proxy 2 because maybe it will eventually replace this proxy. I have not decided yet. 2 to the 2. So, and in this case, the root is gonna be T, and this is gonna be T. And I'm not even sure if you can do something like this. I think you have to do that on the level of implementation, right? I think it has to be on the level of implementation. And let's put the handler here. Let's call it better proxy. Better proxy. Or maybe hard proxy. This is a function, it will accept an event, and on top of that, it probably will accept the root as well, right? And by a mutable reference, because why not? Why not? Right, let's see if all of that scheiße compiles. It does in fact compiles, so let's actually implement widget for hard proxy, and this has to be like that, so this thing has to be a widget, and then we're gonna pass it like that. There we go. Am I doing Rust correctly? Am I an epic Rustician now? You know, for doing this kind of stuff? I think I am. Would you look at that? Would you look at that? So let's actually try to compile that, and what does it say? Okay, so everything actually compiled more or less correctly. I'm not an epic Rustician. Okay, I'm sorry. Alright. It's kind of sad, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Alright. Yeah, by the way, what's up, Kolombetka? Welcome to the stream. I haven't noticed you for some reason. Alright. So, and in a hard proxy, what essentially we're doing, we're taking a root and we render this thing like that. There we go. And then we take the handler and do mute self root event. And maybe, yeah, since we're doing it like that, the handler itself will decide whether to continue the propagation or not. Let's see if it compiles. God damn, this shit compiles. Okay, okay, we're talking. Alright, alright, alright. So this is a hard proxy, which is a little bit more interesting. So with a hard proxy, you can actually decide how we're gonna do all of that stuff. Okay, so maybe I'm gonna also have an implementation, right, like this. Implement a widget hard proxy. Let's see. And we're gonna have something like wrap, or maybe new. Yeah, I think it's gonna be. No, it's gonna be wrap, because it's gonna return box, din widget and whatnot. But it's gonna accept the root like this, right? And also it's gonna accept the handler. It's kind of similar to the original proxy. Yeah. So we'll have to accept this type here. Alright, and what we return here is essentially box new while typing when code compiles. So I suppose the code compilation is the most satisfying part of the stream, huh? Alright. So I should compile the code a little bit fast, more often. Oh yeah, semicolon. Parameters type may not live long enough. Really? Do you think so? But I'm moving it inside, don't I? I'm actually moving it. So you move it in, moving it here. All right. So it should just go there. Ah, I see. I see. To actually move it there, you have to sort of create it there. Oh my god. Consider any explicit lifetime. The thing is, I'm not passing anything by a point, but I don't understand what it's talking about. Is this because root may be not on the heap, right? It may be not on the heap, it may be located somewhere on the stack, and you cannot just move a thing from a heap to, from a stack to a heap. Why wrap is not returning self? Because I want it to be adaptable to the UI tree. So, okay, maybe this kind of helper. Yeah. So if it returned, if I wanted to return self, I would call it new, right? Because according to the standards, to conventions of Rust, new should return self. But since this thing doesn't return self, we're just wrapping it. Okay. So maybe Rust just doesn't have enough information to figure out how to use that, so I'm gonna just remove this thing for now and see if it's applicable where I want to apply it, of course. But can you just do self box? Let me see. Box self. All right. Okay, it kind of works, but will it actually embed into the UI tree? I think it will. I think it should. Will box self assignable to box din widget if self is a widget? Yes, thank you so much. Okay, that's pretty cool. So they are covariant, right? So the box is covariant. So okay, I see. Thank you so much. Cool. That's nice. So I probably should actually replace my things here like everywhere because I already do that. Okay, yes, covariant. Okay. Extends widget, yeah. All right, let's go to the example item list, and this is not the example. There we go. Here is the example. So we're gonna have a hard proxy wrap. And what's funny about the hard proxy is that it doesn't accept the box, right? So you have to directly have this kind of thing here. But the cool thing here is that you'll have an access to the root, and root will have the type of the item list, so we have an access to the item list. So, okay, we can do the following thing. So I'm going to do match, match. This is not a really correct match, but Q, right? Then we're gonna have S root down. Then we're gonna have W root up. Nice. All right, I haven't finished. Okay. Let me finish my code. Okay, so associated wrap never used. Maybe I also have to make it public. Okay, so what do we have here? I forgot. Yeah, I have I need a special like key here, right? Is that what I need? Also, I probably needed some. Yeah, so since I only have one thing here, I only need this kind of stuff here. Oh shit, oh my god, Odd9, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, you helped me a lot. It actually makes so much sense. Alright, now, yeah, so let's run it. It fucking works, look at that. It fucking works. So this is how we use this UI framework, right? So, you can have an item list, and then you wrap it with a proxy, right? And then you can handle all of these things. You can exit by queue, then go down, go up, and so on and so forth. This is actually pretty cool. Yeah. So this hard proxy is kind of... Outline apparently has a lot of experience in Rust. So she helps me a lot every time I have problems with this language. She did pretty scary stuff, I'm not gonna lie. Especially the stuff she posted on the Discord when she implemented like monas or something. That shit is fucking crazy. Oh my god. So yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna compile that, and the thing I want to see actually here is, can I replace the regular proxy that we're using here for quitting with a hard proxy? And if we can, maybe we can throw away our proxy and use only hard proxy, and then we're gonna rename hard proxy to the proxy. Right. So that's kind of the idea. Re-implemented monas or implemented monas in Rust? Yeah. It's kind of hard because Rust, as far as I know, doesn't really have higher order, higher kind of types. but it kind of has. I still didn't get whether it has them or not, but I suppose they're just difficult to use. In Haskell, all of that stuff is actually supernatural. Super space natural, not supernatural. Very, very natural. I don't know, I don't speak English. All right. Introduce hard proxy. RCU hard proxy. I'm gonna push that right into the repo. Supernatural monads, yeah. Exactly. Supernatural monads. Alright, let's see. Can I do that? I probably cannot. The problem here is that vbox returns box. It returns box as the type of the type from Rust. So it's kind of difficult to compose them together. So we need a version of a box that just creates a new box, I see. I think the first step we're gonna have here is actually removing all of these stupid wrappers that are not very useful. So where's my thing here? So yeah, so essentially I want to make this a method of text itself, because I think it makes sense. All right, so where's the struct text? Struct text, and I'm gonna put it here somewhere, and we're gonna have implementation for the text, right? And it's gonna be wrap, right? And I suppose it's gonna be literally self. But what's fun is that maybe I can also implement something like new, which also accepts the text, str, and returns self, right? And essentially it's going to be literally like this, right? So here I can do something like self new text. There we go. So should be pretty straightforward. Now if I try to compile that, it should fail. It didn't fucking fail. Disgusting. So fn text, how did it, excuse me, oh, this is because we never actually used any of this shit. I see, because we have our own wrappers and stuff like that. So all right, so let me see. In a grid example we have my thingy. Yeah, okay. So let's do implement my text fn new, which takes text and returns self, and it's going to return self text new text. Then we're going to have a fn wrap, which also takes text and box self, box new self new text. There we go. And I think I want to remove that, so that will probably stop compiling, but that's kind of the point. Yes, okay. So what I can do now here is this wrap. There we go. So usually widgets will have two constructors. First, wrap constructor, which constructs the widget and wraps it in box, and just new constructor that just constructs the widget without putting it in a box. And depending on your situation, we're gonna use like them differently. Right. So everything seems to be working. Everything seems to be twerking. All right. So and yeah. Let's do it like that. Remove text and my text RCU text and my text helper functions. There we go. I'm gonna push that right into the repo. Java beans coming from all directions. Interesting. Okay. So now I want to do the similar thing to vbox and hbox helpers, right? Instead of having them, I want to have constructors vbox new and vbox wrap. Erections. What? What? Directions. I suppose. I think I said directions, not directions. So, fn vbox. I think I'm gonna just go ahead and remove these things straight up. So, struct hbox, and let's just introduce implementation hbox fn new. And so what we're gonna accept here, we're gonna just accept widgets themselves, and we don't really care what kind of widgets we're accepting. We accept a vector of boxes of widgets, and we're gonna get the self, right? We're gonna just get self. Yeah, and I suppose we can just do widgets. I think it should work. I have bugs flying around in the middle of November. What the fuck? And it looked like actually like a mosquito or something. The fuck? Mosquitoes in the middle of November. Fucking global warming. Alright, so and then we're gonna have a wrap. Mosquitoes in the middle of November in Siberia. KHP agents, yes. That's what they are. He has bugs flying around. What? Bugs. It's J there, G there, not K. Box new, self new widgets. There we go. I need to do the same for vbox, right? So let's find the vbox here, and let's just do implementation. Implementation vbox, and it's going to be new. Similarly, it accepts that, returns self. Wrap. Box self. And box new self new widgets. So let's try to I think I did a fucky-wacky yet again. So there we go. No fucky-wacky has been committed. Almost. I don't know why I put S there, because my brain works weirdly. So this has to be public. Alright. So this is another thing that has to be public. Otherwise it thinks I'm not using it. There we go. And yeah, we're finally there. So essentially what we have to do here is vbox wrap, and instead of this kind of, oh my god, what the fuck happened? This is not what I wanted. Where is my shit? Okay, here it is. I have to replace this stuff with hbox, and here we're gonna just have wrap. It almost fits. It almost fits, not perfectly, but kind of fits there, and it still works. Okay, it still works, and I did like a pretty good refactoring. So after that, I should be able to use proxy by simply putting hard here. So here's the hard, and instead of wrap here, I can just do new. So this is the reason why I wanted to have like wrap and new, right? New creates a thing that is compatible with hard proxy, but wrap creates like a more generic, like boxed stuff. Does it make sense? I'm not sure if it makes much sense, but yeah. So and afterwards, you have to propagate the event back to the handle like this, and I think that's pretty much it. Oh shit, we have to probably do something like that. Otherwise it's not particularly gonna work. Just a second. I just checked that Last Miles guy, he's amazing. Old man almost buried in some hardware saying that GCC is bitch. Well, thank you for telling me who is Last Miles. I mean, oh, you're saying that you checked my recommendation. Yeah. I know him. He's actually quite famous on the science and technology section. Even though he doesn't always have a lot of views, but yeah, a lot of people know him. He's actually very amazing. I wish he drank a little bit less, but who the fuck am I to tell him how to live his life, right? So let's actually take a look at the grid. So here's the grid. It seems to be working, and there we go. So it quitted gracefully. So that means we can finally get rid of the regular proxy and just use a hard proxy all the time. And hard proxy actually gives you access to the original thing there, which is kind of cool, I think. Yeah, let's try to do that. So what did we do here? So I think what I'm gonna do here is just commit everything. Use hard proxy in the grid example. So we're using hard proxy in the grid example, and let's push that right into the repo. All right. So since hard proxy is usable in the place of the actual proxy, I think we can get rid of the actual proxy, and the hard proxy now is just a regular proxy. So let me find struct proxy. There we go. And just remove everything associated with it because it's not needed anymore. Yeah, so let's try to compile all of that. Okay, so it compiles, and now let's query replace hard proxy with just proxy, because yeah, now that's how proxy works. So it's a very generic. It's parameterized by this thing. We don't lose any type information that you may want to have when you're handling events and stuff like that, because you want to be able to modify the state of the widget that you're wrapping, like in case of the item list example, right? So here's the item list, you have a proxy, and here you're actually modifying the state of this entire thing. It makes sense, I suppose. All right. So we have some stuff. We have a raid from Copper Birdie. Thank you for the raid. Welcome, welcome, raiders. Hard proxy. It's gonna be just proxy. So we're gonna replace it like that, and query replace this thing. There we go. Cool. Now I can just do a committee saying that hard proxy is just a regular proxy. There we go. I'm gonna push that right into the repo. I really like how the UI framework turns out. It's kind of like this particular situation is not really great, but I like how you can specify the item list and then also customize how you're gonna control it, right? And then just run it in event loop, and then when you execute it, right, it just gives you the list that you can just control with the controls that you have there, right? So this kind of thing was achieved by this simple, like single expression, declarative expression. You actually made your own Flutter for TUI. It's pretty epic, not gonna lie. Really? I don't know. What I did, Funcchi, I just took all of my information that I gathered while implemented CM, or all of the problems that I encountered, and I structurized them, and I came up with a solution for them. Well, apparently, maybe it's very common problems, and that's why it looks like Flutter or something. You just did the job of the entire dev team. No, I mean, implementing Flutter is more difficult than implementing that, because Flutter has to work with web technologies, and working with that is a little bit easier. So I wouldn't go as far as saying that I did something like dev team at Google. No, Flutter is native? Oh, okay. So it's for, I don't even know what it does. It just renders to canvas, uses Kia, by the way, for rendering on the phone. Oh, it works basically on web by rendering on HTML5 canvas. Do I understand that correctly? So essentially it doesn't care about the platform, it just needs a surface to render on. And if it can render on the surface, it can work there. Also, it needs probably events and stuff like that. Mainly for iOS and Android. It's not for web yet. Oh, okay. Okay, I see. But if it works like that, they're probably gonna implement it for web, like I said, just to HTML5 canvas or something. And that actually makes it possible to compile Flutter applications to WebAssembly, right? And you're gonna, goddammit, they're gonna reinvent the framework that I wanted to make with my own language, because that's pretty much what I wanted to have. I wanted a web framework that moves away from HTML, CSS, renders in HTML canvas, and uses WebAssembly for logic. And it has its own DOM format, like not even DOM, get fucking damn it. I mean, no ideas are new, I mean, I see. Whatever. Okay. So, let's continue. Google stole your idea. Nah, I mean, we just came up with the same real interfaces in HTML. I mean, I think software development, like software industry, may start improving when people will start finally to go away from HTML, CSS, at least towards like HTML canvas and WebGL and WebAssembly. The vegan brownie I'm eating is so good. What vegan brownies are made of, actually? I mean, probably nothing special, right? Just don't put butter in it or any animal products. Yeah, I suppose. And it becomes vegan. So I need to finish this stuff, right? So I need to finish this stuff. Item list. Item list. So what I want to do here is I want to insert. Oh yeah, we also need scrolling and stuff like that. We need to have scroll. That one, yeah, already read that. For example, when we're gonna have like a very small area that is not gonna fit on the screen, we need to be able to scroll. That's for sure. So right now we don't really have that much stuff, right? So test. Hello world, some gibberish, of course. All right. So, and if I try to run this entire thing, it seems to be working, right? It seems to be working, but what if we reduce the size? Oh shit, and I cannot reduce the size of the thing. Yeah, because I want it, like I can try to like reduce it like that. Yeah, and it starts to actually having a stroke, as you can see. So it doesn't handle that properly. So this is what we need to do. We need to be able to like handle scroll and stuff. Let me see. So we're iterating all over the items. All right, so what I need to do here, I suppose, I need to move away from the iterators and start using indices. I think it's going to be a little bit better. So we do self items length, and what I want to have here is the maximum between this thing and the rect height that we have here, right? So how do I do a maximum? How do I do a maximum in Rust? So yeah, you can just do one of those things. Can I have like uSize maximum? Yes, I can. No, I cannot. Am I blind or something? Studio size max. But i32 max works. i32 max. Oh shit, I think it's CMP. Isn't it? Yeah, it's generic. My brain is shutting down, I'm really sorry. So use std cmp max, minimum, I suppose. Item list. Yeah. Item list. Alright, so it has to be minimum between these things. Maybe I should just do CMP, right? Because I never know what kind of things I'll need there, so I can just use CMP. Yeah, CMP minimum. And this is what I'm gonna iterate here, right? I'm gonna iterate like this, from 0 to that, and just that. So it's gonna be I from that to that. So that means it's gonna stop rendering if it doesn't have enough space, hopefully. Let's try to compile that. Right? So it's not gonna compile because we have to change how we reference the items here. So rect, what don't you like about rect? Rect is a float. Okay, I remember that. Because we store rects in floats rather than like size t and stuff like that. And I think what we do here, we just floor them. We just floor them. Right, we floor them and then convert it back to uSize. I think that's what we do essentially. Yeah, now it's gonna compile. All right, so if I try to run this thing one more time, as you can see, yeah, it doesn't have enough space, it doesn't render that. Which is cool. Thank you for floor for me function. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. No, I think I need to commit that. So because this is the bug that I fixed. All right. Don't render items if they don't fit into this screen, right? So this is essentially what we did here. This is essentially what we did, and what's the next thing? So we need to have some sort of a scrolling, right? We need to have some sort of scrolling, and it's gonna be like this. It's gonna be just a single number that indicates on which page we are, and I think I'm gonna steal the scrolling logic from CM, but yeah. So we need to see how to do all of that. So we're iterating from this to this. But also we have to be super careful with that because, yeah, I think I'm gonna do it like that. So I'm just iterating all of the items, right? I'm just iterating all of the items, and the item that I want to use there is essentially I plus self scroll, right? So this is the item that I want to use. I might as well actually... how much of the code in CM will go away once our CU is ready? Well, our CU is not ready, so that means the answer we may not know. And why estimating that is so important? I don't understand this question, I'm sorry. The answer is I don't know, and I don't understand why is that important. Like, it's just... I don't think about it at all. There are more interesting problems to think about right now. For example, how to quit the loop when we go out of the buffer of items. I think this is more important and more interesting, to be fair. I'm really sorry, Kato. But this is like, why numbers? I'm sorry. Yeah, this is exactly what I'm thinking. I'm gonna just break because it will Like it's easier than doing like calculations and stuff. If j is greater, if greater than self items len, right, then we can just simply break. Right, and here, what we have to do essentially, we have to just do j. Because it's literally easy. Why did you choose Rust over any other languages? Because I wanted to. What makes Rust unique, or what are the strengths of it? I have no idea. Okay. Do you know how to code in Rust? No, I don't know how to code in Rust. Next question. So STCMP unused import. Okay, so it is unused anymore. Items. He didn't understand. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry that I didn't understand. I'm just trying to find what any flaws in this logic. Wait, I already did that, didn't I? Where did that come from? Oh shit. All right. So I think I need to remove that. So we iterate in these items, and I suppose everything's okay. Oh fuck. Do I have I? So that means so if this thing is greater than that, we have to break. Then I plus self scroll. That's the thing I'm currently using. And this is gonna be just I. So that should work actually. That should work. My brain doesn't work, like what the fuck? Like it doesn't work at all. Shit. Maybe I need to make a small break. This is so weird. Let's make a small break. My brain just stopped working and I cannot do anything about that. Alright. Small break. 2 minutes. I think 2 minutes should be okay. Because I really want to finish that because it's a super simple thing. Like, and I don't understand why I cannot finish it. Like, it's so weird. Alright, let's make a small break, boys and girls, and you guys have fun. Yeah.
Come on.
Alright, I'm back. Sorry for being a little bit late. Let's continue. So what we're iterating essentially, we're iterating starting from a scroll. Right. Yeah, we're iterating starting from a scroll. So it's gonna be self-scroll, right? So starting from 0, and if I is greater than rect h floor as usize, we actually break, right? So that's how essentially we're doing that, and it should work. I think break helped. So my brain actually working a little bit better. Fuck me. It didn't help. It actually makes like an additional thing here. What is going on? I don't understand. Is there anything needed from me? Excuse me. So is something about who's following longer? I saw that you're following longer. Thank you so much for following. All right. So I don't understand why it does this extra thingy. It's okay. Just discussing who's following since when. Oh, I see. It's kind of. Oh yeah, this is because I do plus scroll. That explains it. That actually explains it. Do I use scroll anywhere? Okay, I shouldn't be using it. Alright. So is it gonna work now? Why does it do an extra thing? I don't understand. So this thing is gonna be from 0. Scroll is initially 0, so it's gonna be just a regular thing here. And if I is greater than these things converted to as size, it should be. Not sure if it makes sense. Like it shouldn't be a thing that I need to do. That's for sure. That's for sure. It sort of like goes like extra iteration, and I have no idea why it makes an extra iteration. Why does it make an extra iteration? Oh, I see why. So also, I have no idea. Okay, I'm gonna actually consult CM because my brain is stuck. And my brain is stuck and I cannot unstuck it for some reason. Oh, alright, I see how I did that. I actually did that in a very stupid way. I'm iterating through each individual thing here, then I check, okay, I see. Alright, that's a very clever solution. Like, yeah, I should have actually looked into the CM like right away. Yeah, essentially I'm just iterating the visual rows, and within them I already, yeah, I see. That makes so much sense. So what I'm iterating here is I'm iterating from 0 to h, right? Oh, we have a raid from Togglebit. Thank you Togglebit for the raid. And raiders, welcome to the stream. We're making a console UI framework, right? So I can probably demonstrate you what exactly we're making. So let me actually stash my changes. All right. So essentially, so we have a simple example like a grid, right? So you describe your UI in the following manner. Like you just provide the UI tree, right, like this, and you give it to the engine, and it runs the event loop and renders the UI, and also passes all of the necessary event loops. So yeah, and if you try to run this example, right? So it's basically a grid. So it has vertical boxes, which aligns the widgets vertically. Then we have horizontal boxes that align widgets horizontally. I just combine them together and it creates a grid. And in each cell of the grid, we're using just a simple text. And let's actually run it. Yes, I'm going to use mesh shaders for sure. So this is how it looks like. So as you can see, we have this grid looking like that. So in each cell we have a text. What's interesting is that this is like a custom text which handles some keys. So that means I can realign them. For example, center all of them, you know, in the center of their cell. And this is how it's going to look like. So yeah, so this is what we're developing here. And once this framework is done, I'm going to use it in my other application. All right. Right now we're trying to add more features to the item list. Item list is a widget that lets you have item lists that you can navigate through and maybe select something and so on and so forth. So here's the item list. This is how it looks like. So we have a couple of items here. You can navigate, as you can see. Right, and then you can quit. So yep, so that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Hope that makes sense. You can find the source code of this thing in here. So feel free to check it out. It's open source, of course. And let's continue, I suppose. Let's continue, I suppose. All right. So lib.rs. So here it is. Rect. Oh my God. What happened? What happened? I just pressed something in my Emacs, went crazy. I have no idea what happened, but I think I can understand what happened. I stashed my changes anyway. Is it cross-platform? What kind of level of cross-platform ability do you need? It doesn't support web. So what do you mean by cross-platform? What platforms do you want? Windows support. Right now, I think theoretically it can support Windows and Mac OS, but I never tested it because I only started developing this framework. Like, this is literally the second stream I'm developing this thing. So I'm literally developing it for 6 hours. So no, I'm sorry. I'm not as fast of a developer. I just thought your idea of using Canvas in web, maybe Google pushes that idea because it could limit ad blockers and script blockers. Yeah, probably. But I mean, the ad system still need to make network requests, right? You can, and Google still need to separate the ad related stuff on separate subdomains. You still can sort of block that. You can basically block requests to the ad domains. Alright. Yeah, if you can block that, but something work on DOM level, I think. Oh, basically they fetch it from the main domain and it just embeds in the But I mean, it's probably gonna work the same way it works on mobile, right? On mobile, you just block the requests, and yeah. I don't know. I'm not really familiar much with the ad blocking technologies. So in CM, SOC, CM item lists, render, yeah. We also need to check that the height is sufficient enough, so yeah, lib.rs. So we'll have to do something like this. It's greater than that, then I'm gonna put it like that. Alright, so then we're iterating it like this. And we have a condition, if self scroll plus I less than items. After the Tsoding web framework made the web completely non-open. I mean, you can now have a pretty closed web. I mean, everything's pretty obfuscated anyway, minimized and stuff like that. I don't think you can make it less open than we already have it right now. Item list CM. So and then, when I'm trying to access an item, I actually access it like that. I see. So, do I do anything here? I actually don't do anything here. Okay. All right. So I actually went a very simple route here, which is nice. Don't need anything here, and this is just plus self scroll. There we go. All right, I think I actually managed to do that. All right, and if I, okay, finally it works. Finally it works. The scrolling actually like cuts everything, and yeah, that's actually pretty cool. All right, so let's commit that. Introduce scrolling mechanism. There we go, I'm gonna push that right into the repo. So, but we also wanna scroll automatically as we move the cursor, right? So that's quite kind of an important thing. So, and we do that by having this kind of stuff. It's called sync scroll Y, right? Sync scroll. So let me steal that function, and it's actually a very simple function. So I'm gonna put it here. So I'm gonna call it sync scroll because it's not called sync scroll Y. Yep, and the cursor is gonna be just this. Boom. So we also have H. And here, essentially what I'm doing... Oh shit, that actually means that I have to modify this stuff. I see. Alright, excuse me. I think we need to modify our widget. Because again, I really want modify the state of the widget when it's rendered. Sometimes I think it might be necessary. So let me see what I can do about that. So I'm gonna go to the widget interface, the trait widget, and I'm gonna just make a mute here and go through the compilation errors. So yeah, it's gonna be mutable. I did cargo build on Windows and it failed to run custom build command for incurses. Feel free to submit an issue for that. I think there is a way to make incurses applications work on Windows with conditional compilation. Essentially, just if you're on Windows, instead of incurses, use something like PD cursors or something like that. I think I saw people do that somewhere. Feel free to submit an issue for that. So this thing is not mutable. Excuse me, so what are you complaining about? Oh, I see. to 1. So this thing has to be mutable, because if you want to render something, it has to be mutable. I'm not sure if we're gonna stay with that for very long, but we'll see. And let's continue. Everything seems to be okie dokie. So sync scroll. So here's the sync scroll, and essentially we do self sync scroll h. There we go. Cool. So now if I do something like this, chat, look, I can also scroll, and it doesn't work at all. Well, it almost works. It doesn't render properly for some reason. Oh shit. Okay. And I close the terminal. Can I do that? Something like that? Okay, I can. It's actually, using TMUX is actually super cool, because if I accidentally close the terminal, TMUX is still there. I can just reattach to it. Never thought about it, by the way. So yeah, that's super cool. Sometimes I forget that after closing the terminal, I can just reattach the TMUX, and I have like shit ton of open TMUX sessions that I have to also close afterwards. But luckily this time I actually remembered that I can reattach to TMUX. I don't know why it's so difficult for me to remember that. I wanted to get into TMUX, but it seems like learning Vim all over again. It's actually, I would say it's an interesting tool in the tool set. Alright. So scrolling doesn't really work properly. So let me see. Maybe this is because we have cursors and shit. Maybe I should actually disable the cursor. Don't quite remember. And also we don't pad things properly as well. Let me disable the cursor. I forgot how to do that though. So in CM, I remember we had cursor thing. And what you're essentially doing, you're just setting the cursor to be invisible. So where's the exec? So this is what we do here. So start the colors and stuff. So cursor set. Cursor invisible, and let's see what's gonna happen. Yeah, there we go. So let's actually see. Cursor invisible. Oh, that's very interesting. So you actually have to import and cursor visibility. Cursor visibility. That's very strange. All right. Will it work? Okay, it works. Right, now we don't have a cursor, and I wonder if it will help. No, it actually doesn't. So it actually goes over, like, slightly. Yeah, I see what's going on. Which is kind of strange. Wait a second. Huh. I don't quite understand why this doesn't work, because I stole it from my own code. I mean, whatever. Why it doesn't work? So scroll plus H if it's greater. So cursor, if cursor is greater than that, we have to go back. If it's less than the scroll, we set it back here. So I don't see any problems here, to be fair. But it's still super Pepega. It's still super Pepega. Like overall, like this, it works okay. And then, yeah, if I go like that. All right, so, oh, I think I understand what is going on. Selected is actually not just I, but I plus scroll. But I plus scroll. So that should actually fix it. That should actually fix it. So now, let me see. Yeah, there we go. So now it can scroll through these things, and yeah. So we can make it a little bit bigger. I understand that nobody gives a shit, but yeah. So so it seems to be working. Seems to be working. Yeah. I still don't know how to make that different, like without making modifications to the widgets during the rendering. What about bottom line? Bottom line is a TMUX. It's TMUX, so I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry. Yep. Implement scrolling. Implement scroll sync when rendering item list. All right, so where is this thing? Where is this thing? So there was a to-do for this thing we're developing. Let me find for. Item list is not finished. So what else do we need here? So we need special operations to insert new items. Operations to insert new items into the item list. Do we need anything else? Operations to remove items from item list. So, and also an ability to edit items, I suppose. Some sort of ability, because that's what we need there. Actually gonna say edit field. Yeah, we need to implement an edit field, and we'll see how we can implement like a stuff. It's not implemented. How you can make item list and edit field work together at some point. All right. Rest of the work. Rest of the work, and I'm gonna push that right into the repo. Let me quickly do a clippy on that thing. Seems to be good. Examples. What about examples? Looks good. What about FMT? So let's actually go through all that. Why must you implement clone in the interface you were just at? I don't remember. I think one of the operations that I do need the clone, and I just edit clone there to make it shut up. But I don't remember very like specifics. So fix FMT remarks. Fix FMT remarks, and let's push that right into the repo. Yep. So let's create a pull request. So we implemented for the item list, we actually finally implemented this thing. As you can see, you can go up and down. And we also have a scrolling, right? So we can also scroll while going up and down. So this is what we implemented in terms of this issue. And for the rest of the stuff, we created separate to-dos. So let's create a pull request, boys and girls. Let's create a pull request. Oh, by the way, what's interesting is that you can do a pretty cool thing. Let me show you. So here's the item. Oh, god damn it. Examples item list. Okay, so we can have revert this buffer. Okay, thank you. You can have virtual, like not virtual box, but VBox, vertical box, right? So it's going to be VBox wrap, and then you're going to have vectors here. So we're going to have two elements there. So we're going to have these things, and then the second thing. We can actually like have two of them. This is actually super Pepega. I realized that. Let me reformat everything. Revert. There we go. So it looks better. So, and now if you run this thing, yeah, now you have two of them and you can control them simultaneously. But this is like a vertical box, right? So you can change it to a horizontal box, right? You can change that to a horizontal box, and now they're sort of like parallel. And this is happening because the virtual box, boxes actually propagate the events to both of the sides. So, and both of the sides handle things like that. For example, if on one of the sides we're not going to handle anything here, right? Let's put it like that, right? So, and I'm going to run it. Only one side is going to work. So, and I think we can probably implement like a focus mechanism based on proxies and stuff. So it's actually super interesting. So the entire framework is going interesting places, I gotta tell you. Yeah. So it just makes the widgets composable and stuff like that. It's very interesting. Like I really like how it's going so far. Yeah. So, and we're gonna use this bad boy in CM to make the UI management there a little bit easier, because right now it's a nightmare, because I was still researching how to do that, and this is the result of all of that research. Next project, text editor. I'm not sure. We'll see. But I want to finish CM, and I want the CM source code to be at least, you know, manageable. All right. Okay, let's create a pull request. More item list features. All right, I'm gonna close this thing here. I also want to be able to like design settings forms like in this declarative language with fields and labels and stuff like that. That would be actually super cool, super useful. Yeah, so this is how, Jesus Christ, this is how many commits I made throughout that issue, and it's not that even big of an issue. But yeah. Do we have any README there that explains how to... Yeah, so I think we need to do some sort of a quick start. I don't know. All right. So I think we need to put like an example in the front page, right, that shows how to use this thing. And one of the examples is going to be this thing, item list. I think item list is a pretty good example because it's concise and you can sort of understand what it's doing by looking at it. Okay, bye-bye, Adnan. See you around. This one is going to be Rust. Yep. Right, so I think it's a pretty good example, only I'm gonna make this list a little bit shorter. Right, it's gonna be full bar buzz. Yeah. Cool. I'm not sure if it makes sense, but maybe over time the design of this thing is gonna improve and it's gonna just be better. Console. Cargo run example grid item list. All right, so add more examples and info to readme. Yep. Do I have a license? I think I do have a license. It is MIT and stuff like that. It is MIT and stuff like that. All right. Cool. Let's snitch up all of the to-dos that I actually introduced. Report, prepend body, introduced in, and where was it introduced? What's the issue number? It was introduced in issue 7. There we go. Operations to insert new items into limiters. Yes, to remove items. Edit field is not implemented. And I think that is it. That is literally it. And I'm gonna push all of these things right into the repo, and we're actually starting to have like a legit process here where we thank you Columbetka for submitting an issue for that. Thank you. Just a second, let me take a look. Can build on Windows. Okay, so the reason why I do that for notifications, because if you go to the issue 2 notifications, GitHub gives you mark as in read, so you can click here and notification doesn't go away. But if you click on that issue not through the notification page, it will mark it as read and without any opportunity for you to mark it as unread. I don't know why, but yeah. So this is now put. Thank you so much. Thank you. This is actually pretty cool. So and then I can just do mark as unread, and it will go back to notifications, and slowly but steadily we'll get back to our thing. Thank you, Mess. Very cool. Yeah, I know. It's amazing. It's the most amazing UX I've ever seen in my life. All right, so I think we are ready to merge everything because we don't have CI, so we don't have to wait for CI. It's actually quite great to not have any CI. You don't have to wait for it. You can just merge it right away. Isn't it amazing? I think it's pretty fucking amazing. Anyway, so I think today's stream was quite productive. We reorganized the whole project. We extracted all of the usable code into the examples, right? So now we have examples in a separate folder and the source code of the library itself in SRC. And we also implemented more functionality for the item list. So it's quite amazing. It's going quite well. Yeah, but unfortunately, boys and girls, I'm already tired and it is time for me to go. Thanks everyone who's watching right now. I really appreciate that. Have a good one, and I see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna do C++ development. Right, we're gonna continue developing our text to video renderer. I really apologize if today's stream turned out a little bit boring because I was too focused on implementing this thing instead of explaining. So yeah, check out our schedule page. Check out our Discord. Check out our WhatsApp channel. Check out all of the resources. This VOD is also going to be archived on YouTube. Thanks everyone for watching, and I see you all tomorrow. Love you all.